Greetings. Welcome to Growth Hacking Show, where we have the founders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, and professional speakers. They come and share their experiences so that way you can avoid the missteps to grow your business and also enrich your business life and grow success secrets from their growth so that way you can have the prosperity for your future. On this episode, I have a very special guest. Is one person doing multiple things almost at once, you know, and he is no other than Tim R. McAdams from Atlanta, Georgia. He's a professional actor for over 30 years. Just look at him and just imagine he has a 30 years experience. There's a clue. And sales and leadership professional for almost 14 years. And he is a professional stuntman for many, many movies. You probably already watched it. I'm going to drop some name for 14 years. This is Imagine. And Fast and Furious 7, Black Panthers, Avenger Infinity War, Avenger Endgame, on and on. I'm going to have him fill in the many other names himself. How one person as a professionally can do the stuntman acting, professional speaker, and the sales and leadership coach. And actually, it's really a business. It's a skill. And there's so many tactics, and I'm sure there's success strategies beyond having all that professional business. How to keep yourself as a smart and keep going with the energy, man. That's the key. We all want to learn from that one. Please join me to give a warm welcome to Tim R. McAdams. Tim, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Siddique, for having me.
Yeah. Let me start with this, Tim. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into multiple things and get going?
Yeah. It's so interesting to hear you say it that way, because then I sit down and I say to myself, I says, oh my God, I guess I do all those things on a day-to-day basis. You don't think about it when you're in the trenches of it until somebody starts to talk about it. I break my life down into three stages. It's my passion, my trade, and my assignment. And progressively, my passion, my trade, and my assignment became one. They just kind of merged themselves together. In 8th grade and 3rd grade at 8 years old, I discovered a love for performing arts. I was a theater performer and had the opportunity to learn the art of standing on stage, talking in front of people, connecting with people, taking on characterization. And that grew into television and eventually grew into film. And it's just something I fell in love with. It became a passion of mine, and I knew I would always do it. I grew up in a single household of 4 in Washington, D.C., and being a struggling actor when you take on head of household very early in life is not an option. So you better find a trade. And my trade was sales, because I didn't have a lot of formal education. My background was in performing arts. I went to Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts, majoring in theater, but I didn't have any master's degree or bachelor's degrees or doctorate degrees or any type of advanced degrees that were going to give me any type of leverage in the business world. So where do people who don't have leverage in the business world go? They find a reputable sales company and develop a skill. That's what they do. And that's what I did. I joined a safety company. I was able in my first 6 years in that company to grow to the divisional vice president of marketing and direction for that business. Developed a lot of sales, management, leadership skills, executive leadership skills. And what I discovered during that stage was that I had a passion for speaking in front of people. As a sales leader, you spend a lot of time motivating, inspiring, and teaching. And I realized that I actually loved that more than I loved the trade of sales and leadership. Though it was many years later before I incorporated it into my life as a profit resource and as a service, I realized early on that it was something that was inside of me. It wasn't until 2005 that I started working outside of the sales and leadership industry that I was working for. But even then, I put it on the side again. And when I put it on the side, it was so that I could run my own insurance company, which was the industry that I found myself in later in my career. And I dedicated my time to running my agency and really kind of put performing arts and speaking to the side so that I could operate in one vein. As one of my mentors told me, you can't serve multiple gods at once. So I served that God, which was the insurance industry. And it blessed me during my tenure to put me in a financial position where I could retire from the insurance industry. And for the last 2 years, I've dedicated my time to consulting in the insurance industry, teaching those skills. And when I'm not doing that, pursuing my assignment, which is enriching people's lives, educating them on how to be better personally and professionally. And then got a chance to do my childhood dream and live out my passion and work in the film industry, which is primarily as a professional stuntman, as you mentioned. And I still get a chance every once in a while to dust off my acting chops and get in front of the camera too. So on a day-to-day basis, it's really about schedule management. This month has been about speaking. The end of the month, I'll be filming. And in between that, I've got a couple consultant days, but it's just about managing your time, managing your schedule, and making sure that you don't fail any of your obligations.
Wonderful. That's amazing. We can learn a lot from you. So that's why you keep watching this, and probably you want to share it. Don't watch it alone. Sharing is caring. Share it with your friends so that they can watch it together with you. So Tim, you are in Atlanta, and mostly when it comes to film, as Hollywood, that's your name, brain goes directly to Hollywood. How big is the Atlanta market when it comes to, you don't go to Hollywood like LA for every movie, is that right?
No one needs to go to LA because LA is coming to Atlanta, okay? I wish I had a number on how many professionals have moved from LA to Atlanta in the last several years. In our industry, being the stunt profession, a majority of the big name stunt performers moved here because the film industry last year generated some odds billions and billions of dollars. I used to know the number by heart, but it eludes me right now, and I don't want to misquote it. But we finished last year as one of the #1 markets for film in the world. So we don't really have to leave our backyard here in Atlanta to work. This is where people are coming. The television shows are here. The films are here. The independent film productions are here. It's just a beautiful season and a beautiful time to be in Atlanta in the production and film industry.
Wonderful. Look forward to seeing you at working somewhere too, in person as well very soon. So Tim, you do so many things. And let me be honest with you, when I was reading your bio, you said you have professional experience of 30 years. And when I look at you, I say, I could be wrong. There's somebody else, I got a gray hair, I'm losing them too. I don't have a 30 years experience yet. How you keep yourself as envy? Okay, I'm not jealous of you. Envy, like how you keep yourself as a young man and thriving.
I'm Benjamin Button. That's what I am. I'm Benjamin Button. I know you're not a big movie guy, so if you don't know who Benjamin Button is, look it up. You'll get a good laugh out of that. But two answers to that, Siddique. I did start performing very early in my life, but the other side of it is deliberate routines. I've got a very stringent exercise program that I follow on a weekly basis. My diet is very strict, and some people laugh at me because I do take skincare and things like that very seriously. I think my mom and my dad, genetics play a big part into the compliment that you've given me, but the other part of it is truly, truly, truly being committed to trying to stay healthy, not just have a great physique, but have great fitness. And it's something that I work on and I practice every single day. And I believe that it shows itself inside you. And in my thought, I will share this one thing too, keeping your stress levels as minimal as possible. Stress ages us, and it's been scientifically proven that stress causes medical conditions and stress ages us. And I'm one of those people that believes that for every problem, there's a solution. And the less time you spend on the problem, the less stress you have. The more time you spend on the solution, the more relief you feel because you realize that you're moving in a positive direction and you can deal with the tribulation, you can deal with the storm because you can see the sun on the other side. And that wasn't something that anybody told me. That was a gift that was given to me mentally from God. And I've just exercised that throughout my life.
Very well said. Thank you so much. So Tim, based on your experience, what are the top 3 missteps to avoid when it comes to growing your business?
Siddique, when I answer that question, I'd have to kind of leave the performing arts out of it for a second and just talk more so about my background in business. I've started in the business world pretty young. This year makes 24 years that I've had a chance to work in some level from sales to ownership in the leadership and business world. And when I thought to myself just the other day about mistakes, when I was talking to one of my mentees, it rolled off my tongue so easy. So when you asked it just now, it was simple because I know the mistakes I've made that killed my business. And I was teaching him not to make those same mistakes. And one is understanding proper delegation. Siddique, early in my career, I was the person that wanted to do everything. I wanted to do everything. And I realized that in order to grow and scale a company, it's impossible for you to do everything. At some point, you're going to have to effectively train and develop people around you, take your hands off of things, and then hold them accountable to the standard in which you taught. Unfortunately, I didn't get that very early on in my career. So I spent a lot of time working 12, 14, 16, 18-hour days, running around like a chicken with my head cut off when I was growing my company, questioning why I couldn't grow my company the way I wanted to. And the answer is because I couldn't be in 4 offices at one time. I couldn't be in 8 places within my own office at one time. I needed to become a better leader, and leaders are effective delegators. And so once I realized that, my career changed because I started then giving people responsibility. And as a result of that, it allowed me to grow and move myself to the next level. The second thing I would tell you is that I listened to a book that helped change my life, and it was called The E-Myth. And The E-Myth is a book by Michael Gilbert. A lot of people are familiar with the book. And I spent a lot of time in my career, which was my second miscue, working in my business and not working on my business. Yeah, I think so many of us make that mistake that we're good at what we do. We get into the trenches and we're just trying to push out results. We're trying to push out production. We're trying to get the business to the next level, where in essence, we're spinning our wheels because we can only do but so much production in a 24-hour day. However, when you start spending more time sitting back and working on your business, you then come up with innovative ways to streamline your processes, maximize your results with less efforts, and start to get the most out of your business. And then I realized too that took me back to one, because the better systems I had in place to grow my business, the easier they were to train to other people so that way I could effectively delegate. And the third, along the lines of business miscues, would be I had to stop comparing people to my skill set. See, I work in an industry where performance is the way you got promoted. So when you work in an industry where performance is the way you get promoted, you become very critical of the people around you because you're trying to hold them to your standard. And guess what I started doing? I started criticizing people constantly rather than coaching them. And so one of the things that I teach in my leadership courses is coach, don't criticize. Because a lot of times, especially high-level performers, we become very critical of people who can't perform at our level because we're holding them to the standard in which we performed at. Well, guess what? There's a reason why the 97% is the 97% and the 3% is the 3%. And if we try to aggressively and sometimes negatively hold the 3% to the 97%, the 97% to the 3 percentile standard, we're going to be in trouble in business. We're going to churn our business. We're going to turn a lot of people over. We're going to build a lot of resentment. So one of the things I realized was that when I stopped doing that and started coaching people to be at the highest level of success that they were able to accomplish, I got the best out of my people, and I found more assets to help me grow my company. So the third miscue I made was judging people against myself and criticizing, not coaching, and realizing that I need to coach and not criticize.
I'm glad I asked that question. You have a wealth of information. Here's a quick recap: is not delegating enough, and working in the business, not on the business, and criticizing while not coaching them. So that was the top 3 missteps to avoid. So let's move on. Tim, what are the top 3 success secrets? Please just give us away, give us everything what you know. Top 3 success secrets for your professional growth.
Well, that I can generally speak on. The first thing is schedule management. Schedule management, schedule management, schedule management. One of my mentors very early in my life told me that on a day-to-day basis, either you're going to dictate your time or other people are going to dictate your time. And the first step to dictating your own time is to have a calendar and a schedule that manages you. Now, this is when I was still working under other people's supervision. So honestly, I couldn't do what I wanted to do because they were telling me what I needed to be doing. Well, that lesson though, and those habits that I created early, scheduling my day every half hour on the half hour, and at more critical times in my life, every 15 minutes on the 15 minutes, and having a weekly agenda of things that I was going to accomplish, and a daily agenda of things that I was going to accomplish, a monthly agenda of things I was going to accomplish. It allowed me to stay tunnel vision. And then what happened was, as I became an entrepreneur and started running my own business, my schedule was my manager. So I didn't have to be held accountable. Today we had an interview scheduled at a certain time. Guess what? My clock beat the hour before and told me, and this was priority. I trained for 2.5 hours this morning because part of my responsibility is to stay in good shape for the shows that I'm committed to. It's on my schedule. It's not like I wake up and say, oh, I'm going to the gym today. No, 8:30 in the morning, my striking class started. Then my following class started at 9:30. It's just a part of my regimen, my routine. So schedule management, I would say, has been one of the most important things to me being successful. As I've decided to live in my trade, my assignment, and my passion at the same time, scheduling becomes very critical in these situations. One of the common mistakes that entrepreneurs make is they think that once they become entrepreneur, they don't have to manage themselves on anybody else's schedule. They have too much free time and they don't manage their free time correctly. And then they wonder why their business is failing. You know, we still got to work 8 to 12 hours a day, eat productive hours a day, even though we don't have anybody telling us what to do. Entrepreneurs that don't manage their schedules well find themselves wasting a lot of their day away. So scheduling would be the first thing. Second would be relationships. You know, I think everybody's personality is different. And as a result of your personality being different, it affords you the opportunity to grow yourself based on whatever God's given gifts you have and the talents that you've developed for yourself or skills that you've developed for yourself. One of the things that I think God gifted me with was the ability to communicate with people, build relationships, connect with them. And that has been a big part of my success in all of my endeavors. In the performing arts arena, especially in the stunt community, it's really small in a big pot. So as a result of that, a lot of the calls I get for work are calls from coordinators that I've not only built professional relationships with, but they like me as a person. I've become approachable. I've been willing to communicate with them and ask them how their wife is doing, ask them how their kids are doing, not kissing butt. See, there's a very big difference between kissing up and being personable, building relationships. I believe one of the keys to success in this world is to learn how to build effective relationships with our family, with our spouses, our children, and the people in our professional world. So I realized in the performing arts that relationships has assisted me in working and staying active. In business, leadership, it's everything. It's everything. The more appreciated people feel, the harder they work. The more they realize that you value them as more than a number or a name on a tag or a person who sits behind a desk, and that they are actually a key part of your business, I think the janitor should understand the impact of their job and the consequence of them not doing it well. I know this. I've run big offices before. Somebody walked in that office and it looked like crap. They didn't trust my business. So look at that low dollar employee, that guy at the bottom of the totem pole. Look at him. Look at what he does for your business when that desk is shining and people walk in the door. I'm critical of stuff like that. I know others are too. So I realized that building relationships and letting everybody know that they were valuable and they were important to me in business has benefited me astronomically. And then as a professional speaker, you know, who wants a person to come out that has a bad attitude and doesn't know how to connect with the people? I've had to learn how to immediately walk in a room, connect with the people that are important, the people that I don't know are important yet, and just the people who are in the general environment. And I believe that the atmosphere that you create when you walk into a room and when you're dealing with people will directly impact your level of success. And the third is execute. Execute, execute, execute. There are a lot of brilliant thinkers in this world, and there are a lot of fantastic talkers in this world. But success is built on planning, yes. Success is oftentimes built a little bit on talking, yes. But success is undoubtedly, number one, built on execution. Because you can do the other things without execution and never get out the gate. But you can't say that anybody who executed didn't find some type of movement. And that's what we want to be successful. We've got to move. And effective execution is obviously critical. Planning correctly, strategically organizing, making sure you know what your ABC step is going to be. But then after all that's done, entrepreneurs, we got to act, got to execute. So those would be my three.
Wonderful. That is amazing. Amazing. Time management, relationships, authentic relationships, I would say, you know, and the grilling execution. You have to kind of, once you plan it accordingly, then you execute, and then leave the rest. Something will come out from that one. Thank you so much. That's a great wisdom. Tim, how are you growing your business right now in this economy?
Yeah, in the insurance industry, going back to the relationships, I've been very fortunate to build some extraordinary relationships over the last 14 years, which is the time I've spent directly in the insurance business. So I spent a lot of time working with some of my former peers, guys that owned agencies like I did, assisting them in training and development. You know, we have this problem as people where our leader could tell us something or our parent could tell us something and it kind of goes in one ear and goes out the other. But somebody else could come in from the outside and say the exact same thing and it sticks right there in the middle. So I've been fortunate to go from that guy that had stuff going in one ear and out the other to being the guy that gets hired to come in to say those same things that the leadership and the ownership are saying to people, and it connect. So some of those relationships have come in very handy for me, because they'll call me. Yesterday I was at an event, working with them, and I've got a follow-up leadership seminar I'll be doing in the next couple weeks. I'll just be sitting down with these leaders teaching basic principles and some of my experiences, obviously. So that's one way that I'm growing my business. As far as speaking professionally and the performing arts, those things are happening organically. They really, really are. I haven't done a lot of promotion as far as my speaking services are concerned. As I mentioned, it's just been within the last year and a half that I've committed my life to this phase and prioritizing it. So what I found is that a lot of word of mouth has been where a lot of my speaking opportunities have come from. My plan is to start utilizing this incredible vehicle of social media and to continue to do some digital marketing and using some campaigns through my website to start building a reputation for myself and letting people know that I am out there and now available to teach, train, speak, motivate, or whatever the occasion may include. And then with the performing arts, it's really word of mouth at this point. I'm so blessed to have some incredible relationships with coordinators here that when the profile fits me, they call me up. So that keeps me busy there. My primary focus, though, is my professional speaking career. I feel like that was something that God put on my spirit. It's an assignment. It's something that I'm going to spend the rest of my life doing and doing at a very high level. And I've got a message to deliver, which is unique in the sense that my first goal and desire is not to motivate people. It's to enrich their lives through education and allow the motivation to be secondary. So I've built a curriculum of comprehensive training programs that are really designed to empower people, educate them, and enrich their lives and help them be better. And it's a compilation of my experiences, my mistakes, and just some God-given gifts that have been given to me. And I'm really excited about not just sharing that in the professional world that I've been in or in the relationship-built worlds that I've created, but scaling that and being able to share it with the world.
That's amazing. Keep up the good work. So, Tim, how the Growth Hacking Show community, people who are watching this right now, how they can support you?
Get the word out that I'm abound. Get the word out that I am here. I'm so thankful that I arrived at this stage in my life to be living in my assignment where my first priority isn't monetary, where everybody wants to make money for their services. I believe that if you provide a great service to the world should return in some form of compensation for you. And for most of us, that's finances. So I'd be standing here telling a story if I said that earning income is not something that's important to me. However, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like what I have to say, the messages that I deliver, the things that I want to teach are things that are going to make people much richer than I could ever be. So the first thing I would say is, spread the word that I am available. I am here to speak at events, whether it be organizations, whether it be church groups, whether it be school groups, or whether it be business groups, whether it be personal development, whether it be professional development. I am dedicating this stage in my life to delivering the messages that are on my mind, my heart, and through my experiences to help other people in their journey to be as successful as they could possibly be. And second is this social media thing is a whole new thing for us. It's something that I'm just exploring. I'm just entering into because I've worked in niche markets my whole life. So I really haven't had to reach for leads and marketing and relationships. But the network could follow me. Just join in the mission, join in the enrichment calls, and just be a part of our process, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, regardless of what the network is. Join the following, follow the daily messages, follow the daily post, gain, grow, learn, and share the information. Those would be the two ways.
Wonderful. You heard it directly from Tim. Just follow it. So go ahead and connect with him. LinkedIn, visit his website. I just showed you the website earlier. You can outreach to him and maybe book him or make introduction to him from your network. Wherever, whatever you like to do, go ahead, and when you connect with Tim, just say you came from this interview, Siddique's interview from the Growth Hacking Show. As we are about to wrap up, Tim, what would you say as a final word?
I have a motto that I'm living by this year, and it's peace, prosperity, purpose. Peace, prosperity, and purpose. I say one of the biggest gifts I was given was not being the most educated or the smartest person in the room. So it forced me to learn how to find simplistic ways to live a great life. And my goal is to live a phenomenal life every day. And in order for that to happen, I have to have peace in me and around me. So I focus on what I can do to stay balanced and make sure that the people around me understand what I expect from them. Prosperity is not just money. It's about living the best life, living the most rich life that you can in every single area. And purpose is waking up in the morning and doing that which you know that you were destined, designed, and called to do. So my final words would be: evaluate your peace. Where does it stand? And what do you have to do to get it to where you want it to be? Evaluate your vehicles to living a life filled with prosperity, and figure out what you have to do to increase the level of prosperity in your life. And look at what you're doing every single day. It may not be today, but do you have a plan to be able to wake up one day and live in your purpose, and your purpose be the thing that supports your lifestyle at the same time?
Very well said. Peace, prosperity, and purpose. Thank you so much, Tim or McAdams, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Growth Hacking Show community, our entire team, we really appreciate you.
Absolutely.
This is Mohammed Siddique, your host of Growth Hacking Show and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon, from Atlanta, Georgia. Wishing you good luck, good sales, and I do hope our path across again with another amazing guest. Until then, all best wishes.
Awesome.